Good evening, everybody. It's Dr. Mark Waller, and this is Mastering Thought, our live stream on Thursday evening at 6:15. And next to me over here is Sarah. Sarah's from Ashland, Oregon, and down here is in his normal spot is Simon. Simon is from North Hollywood, and it's just great to have everybody here. If you want to make a comment, please do. I've got my comment screen right here, and we'll put them up in this. Can you see my cursor when I move it around? You probably can't.
No.
So this blank spot below me here, we're going to put the comments in. So if you have any questions or comments, please let us know. And I just want to announce, I'll probably do this a couple times. On Monday at noon, Rochelle Lane and I do another live stream specifically oriented toward couple issues. We talk about the dance of the lion and unicorn and couple problems and dynamics. We had our first one last Monday. Sarah watched it and thought it was very good. And so I would urge you to bring your couple agenda and come and visit us then. That would be great. So let's check in with everybody. We haven't seen Sarah for, I think, 3 weeks. Is it 3 weeks?
Has it been that long?
Yeah, maybe longer. I don't know, maybe 4 weeks. Anyway, bring us up to date on what's going on with you, Sarah. It's good to have you back. And
Thank you.
yeah, it's nice to have you. So what's going on? Talk about moment mindfulness and what's happening with that.
Yes. It's, I think I was struggling, as I was telling you earlier, I was struggling with really understanding how it would actually help to focus on everyday mundane thoughts when I have big problems. Um, and, but, I trust the process. I really trust you, and I trust Rochelle, who's the friend that referred me to you and into Moment Mindfulness. And so I've just, like I said, I've just been faithful even in the face of chaos. But one of the things, I think I'm finally starting to understand like what happens when you practice moment mindfulness.
Okay.
And just to answer my own question as to why practice it with everyday thoughts is to be able to it helps build a capacity to be the observer
Yes,
without becoming overwhelmed, because you've made
that's
it really
correct.
clear, don't practice this with difficult thoughts or when you're in distress or when your nervous system is not regulated. It's not going to work.
Right.
But trusting the process of observing just silly, mundane thoughts and really starting to see yourself as the observer and
Mm-hmm.
separate yourself from the thoughts. I think it's finally really dawning on me because I'm starting to see like results
Uh-huh.
to truly be able um, to help.
So
Yeah,
what results are you seeing? We'll get into it more, but uh,
yeah, yeah. Well, like I said, I think I'm starting to build a better muscle of separating myself from the thoughts,
okay.
and that muscle alone is leading to to take a pause. Um, um, when I am in distress or when
Mm-hmm.
issues arise that normally dysregulate me, um, I'm beginning to observe my thoughts even when I'm in duress now.
Right.
And and it's like, and I didn't have that capacity before, which is incredibly helpful because if
Yes.
I can observe that these are just thoughts, they're not
Uh-huh.
necessarily facts, and I
Right.
can stand back and take a pause, it leads to better choices. It can lead to better choices.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably makes you feel a little more peaceful.
Yes. Yeah. I did. You said, I did listen to your,
Sorry about that. I got a call.
I listened to your YouTube video with Rochelle in regards to relationships, and I did the test, and I found out that I'm a lion. Yeah,
Y-
I'm a lion, so I I tend to move toward connection under
Uh-huh.
stress.
Okay.
And yeah, and sometimes that's not the best approach. I
Uh-huh.
need to stop and think and make choices, really observe what's going on with me and be able to make the right choice and not abandon myself because a lion can abandon themselves chasing.
Absolutely. So, getting back to something you said, I think is extremely important. What we're practicing here with moment mindfulness is separating from a thought. We're not practicing solving a problem. And when you separate from a thought, you go into a different part of your brain to become the observer. And when you become the observer, all kinds of things start happening that are associated with it. So, what you said was very interesting, and that was that immediately when you start developing this new awareness, it starts carrying over into other areas. But if you start to try to solve the problem of those gnarly negative thoughts, you never get the benefit of this. It just never really happens. And so
No, there's a lot
people
of
think
suffering
I'm
in that space.
people think I'm crazy when I tell them to do this. They absolutely do. I understand. But the instant they start doing it the way I tell them to do it, they start noticing differences. And their perspective changes and their emotional reactivity gets easier to deal with. And, yada, yada, yada. All this stuff happens if they just concentrate on the small thoughts because they're developing that muscle, like you said, of being the observer. And that's everything because that's self awareness.
Yeah.
So, absolutely. Good. Well, let's go to Simon and see what's going on with Simon, and bring us up to date on your struggles.
Um, this is incredible. For a whole week, I think, since our last conversation, I haven't had a single missile hit me. So all these negative thoughts and negative things we were talking about,
Uh-huh.
condescending voices and whatnot, have all been missing. Like they're all been missing. Like the missiles just go over my shoulder.
Really?
Really. And I realized that all the voices that I thought I was generating and talking to myself, like back to myself, have the same direction. They're all just missiles going out. It's incredible. And I don't turn around anymore and talk back to the voices, like the negative ones, because
Wow.
I realize they're headed out to like another self. You know, when you said we talk to ourselves, imagine this self that we're talking to is like another self that we're trying to inform. So it's like I'm informing another part of myself, and I realize, oh my God, I'm doing it. I'm informing this other idealized version. I'm trying to improve an idealized version of myself. And it's like both from a, I don't know how to explain this, but I can visually see it. It's like there's this other guy that's with total emotional regulation, and I'm trying to make sure he knows my perspective. And these negative voices are also like informing this emotionally regulated guy, and nothing phases it. There's this other part of us that's totally like emotionally regulated. And it's like, man, I can be that guy. I can be this emotionally
Wow.
regulated one instead of this nervous wreck that's always talking back to this one I'm trying to correct.
Simon, you're
It's
starting to you're breaking up
I
on
think
us
it's
a little
paying
bit.
off. I think I owe you I was just saying it's starting to pay off. I think I don't know how, I don't know why, but it's paying off. Like I think I owe you at least $100. I owe you $100.
What you
I
could do
swear.
to pay me back is just spread the word.
Yeah, yeah, I owe you money. Damn it. I gotta repay you somehow. I swear, it's working out.
So Tomas is with us. I really appreciate you being here, Tomas. I guess a question I had for you was regarding the thought process of grieving. Is that considered an inner voice or what's going on in the current moment? And then he follows up with another one, or how would the technique help during the grieving process? And so this is a really interesting question that Tomas is asking. And I want to just make a point here about grief. Grief is pain, and thinking about grief is suffering. And so, um, life is painful, but all the thinking we do about the pain is suffering. And so, what he's asking here, what is regarding the thought process of grieving? The thought process of grieving is suffering. Grief itself is pain. And, sometime if you want to get into a discussion about how the brain works, there is this part of the brain called the limbic system where we have the pain. That's where the emotional pain is. And I believe that's where grief is. And then part of the limbic system is a structure called the cingulate gyrus that kind of sits on top of it. But the cingulate gyrus is also part of the default mode network. And so what the cingulate gyrus does is it evaluates the pain, and then it helps the default mode network turn it into a story. So we have this whole system in the brain that helps turn pain into suffering and tell a story about it. And so one of the challenges, grief is a very difficult thing. One of the challenges with grief is to separate the pain from the suffering. And what I have found, and you may find this quite surprising, that when people do moment mindfulness and they have the awakening that Sarah and Simon are talking about, their tendency towards suffering just diminishes dramatically. The pain is still there.
Yes.
For instance, if you hit yourself really hard in the toe with a hammer, that's going to be painful. But if you're awake and self-aware, you're not going to tell all your friends about the pain. You're going to realize the pain is transitory and it's eventually going to go away, or you're going to have, a cast put on your toe or whatever is going to happen, but you're not going to turn it into the story of poor me. And so when it comes to grief, this is a very hard pill to swallow, but the less thinking you do about the grief, the easier the grief is to bear. I don't know if either one of you wants to make a comment about that, but that's my take on it. I found, as a counselor, I found grief very difficult to work with because there's no magic, there's no grief counseling that just makes it go away. It just, I've not found the magic bullet to make people, feel better about grief. It just, something you have to live with. Go ahead, Sarah. It looks like you got something on your mind.
Yeah, I've experienced grief in my life several times and somewhat now. And one thing that I'm noticing is that I am experiencing pain, but it's in my body.
Ah,
I experience pain in my body, and I've been learning to observe that and pay attention to what my body's telling me.
uh-huh,
But through this moment mindfulness that I've been practicing for months now, I'm starting to see that while my body's signaling pain, my mind starts to
right.
create a story around it, just like you said. But I'm able to catch myself and for moments be the observer. And I notice how my mind is even causing more pain in my body by the story
Right.
it starts to make up.
It's
And
a,
I'm
it's a
already
loop.
suffering enough. I'm suffering enough. The pain in my
Right.
body is enough. So
Yeah.
practicing this has been wonderful.
So Jet is asking a very interesting question. How do we separate pain from the suffering with thought watching? Okay, so what you do with thought watching, if you do the exercise the way we're telling you to do it, you have an awakening experience where you realize you're not the voice in your head. That eliminates suffering. You realize instantly, and I'm sure, well, both of you are saying this tonight in your own ways, that thinking about the pain is suffering. And so you separate pain from suffering by noticing that the suffering all comes from thought. The pain, like Sarah's saying, comes from your body. It comes from that, as it's a sensation. I think some people are more bodily oriented than others, but it is not a story that you tell in your head. That I call suffering. With thought watching, there's a moment where you go free and you know that if you're suffering, you made that choice. pain is not a choice. Simon, you're grinning. What's popping into your mind?
You're not going to believe it. I guess the ego, the part that was making this all suffer and extremely difficult, was because it was treating like myself as one big sponge. Like my brain was supposed to work like one big sponge, one. But if you just let it all go, you can realize that the suffering is coming from one place, and your like part that you talk to yourself is another place that it's coming from, and they're both just like coming out of you. And you could just let it all go and let it happen and land wherever it could land. Man, the part that I thought I was talking to myself or informing myself, I could just let it go and it could land in this other, like, completely emotionally regulated place. And the part that was attacking me is also going to that place. I'm giving it a direction now, like a path, and it's not hitting me.
Right.
And my speech isn't meant to turn around and hit me. I can just let it all release.
You know, Simon, I got to tell you, in 30 years of practicing psychotherapy, I've never seen anybody experience the kind of miracle that you're experiencing.
I swear, I feel like I'm free.
Oh my
I,
God. You know, I hope
I,
people have been tracking this thing with Simon for weeks now because the man is has I've never met anybody so up in his head and so, you know, just completely looping over and over in
right, right,
analysis. And to hear you
right.
say that, I'm just, you know, I'm actually stunned to hear you.
Um, and you know how he said like this other like king figure. You know they call it like the king for men. It's like a masculine stoic person, or it's like an idealized version. I realize, sometimes men we do that with women. We have this like idealized version of like the ideal woman, and then we
Uh-huh.
compare every other woman to this imaginary type that doesn't exist. I feel like every time I inform myself, it was trying to help this ideal version of myself. Like
Oh,
I got like get milk, but it's directed towards that guy who should be doing it, right? Get milk, stop here, or do that. These like non-emotional thoughts, plus the emotional thoughts are like, hey man, don't cry. That's emotional, right? Don't cry. Uh,
right.
they're both going towards this like fantasy idealized version. I'm like, dude, I'm never gonna be that guy. Just let it go. Let it go towards him. I don't know.
I don't think in my life, I ever imagined in this universe, I would hear you say you could let it go at all.
Right.
I'm just, I'm
Yeah.
just completely blown away. My
My
God, Simon.
Right. They were taking like U-turns. My every thought I would get was taking a U-turn and hitting me like dead in the chest because of my
Yeah.
identity.
Wow.
And then my identity was trying to like defend it like with armor, right? Like you're injuring me. This is my identity you're injuring.
Right.
But man, now just the like rockets or these thoughts are just like fleeing out, and I don't have to like chase it or defend myself.
Now,
And that's the whole.
before I go back to Sarah, let me ask you a question. When the thoughts come, does that voice still feel like you or sound like you?
This is for Sarah, right?
No, it's for you.
Okay, say that one more thing. I thought you were asking her. I thought you were
No,
asking.
I said before I go to Sarah for a
Oh,
comment, I had a question. My question was, when that voice speaks in your head now, does it still sound like you and feel like you, or do you no longer believe in your gut that it's you?
man. Okay, I have two. I have two distinct voices. I know one is coming from the limbic system.
Right,
Definitely. I've isolated these voices. I remember talking about teen or something like I've isolated where the voice comes from. That emotional, irrational,
right, right.
injured, childlike one, I
Hmm.
have no control over. It has its own logic. It's not even logic. But the one that I thought was myself, that logical one,
Right,
it's designed to inform like this other self. I thought I was talking to myself,
right.
but now I don't believe like in the self that I'm trying to inform.
Okay.
It's like some stoic character. So as soon as I'm in mid sentence, I realize, hey, I'm doing it again. This voice is trying to like help out
Wow.
myself.
Wow.
I was so bought into who I was, like as an informer.
Okay.
Um, I don't know. Maybe I'm getting cut off. It's getting lost in translation.
On the par, good evening. Welcome. You're witnessing a miracle for both of these people. When Sarah first joined us, I don't know what was it, maybe 2 months ago.
Think so, yeah.
She had never
And
done moment mindfulness at all, and of
no.
course Simon hadn't done it, and or maybe he tried, but we had him on, and we had a special session with him. Um,
Yeah,
and anyway, um, the to watch the transformation. This has not been a long time. This has not been months of therapy. We don't do therapy here on this channel. All I'm doing is offering up an exercise and talking about the principle that makes it work, and hoping that people will drop their attitude and just do the exercise. And as soon as you do, changes start to happen.
big time. Yeah, yeah.
Sarah,
There's uh,
Simon, God bless you, man. So Sarah, what do you have? You have, I'm sure, some things to say to Simon.
Yeah, he's definitely a thinker. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
he's a bit of an analyzer.
I thought I was in my head a lot. Wow. But
yeah,
no, it makes me really happy to see, like it's almost like you can see this light bulb come on in his head and he gets so excited, and it's like
Uh huh.
it's wonderful. It's
It is.
wonderful to see that.
So, I just had a question. It kind of went out of my mind. So keep talking. Um, what was it that finally kind of turned the tide for you, Sarah, and made you kind of really buy into the process?
I mean, I think I had like a little I did have an awakening moment earlier, I think when I was on weeks ago. I
Uh
think
huh.
we talked about it. I talked about I was so sick and tired of my sad little story, and I was willing to try anything. And and it was a good practice because I think initially I started to really start to see, wait a minute, there is an observer. I totally identified with my thoughts. And like with
Right.
Simon, I constantly talking to myself, and I thought
Right.
I was talking to myself.
Right.
But it was just constant chatter. Oh my God. And I was very disconnected from my body. It was just
Uh huh.
all up here. And I reconnected, I feel, to my body, which is
Uh
how
huh.
I'm able to experience the pain in my body. But I think what I'm noticing is now that I've been practicing with everyday thoughts,
Yes.
all of a sudden I see the observer in me in tougher situations, which is
Ah.
what really is helping me break through with what I've been going through.
Okay.
And a lot of my thoughts and the chatter is fear-based for me,
Right.
um, fear and old wounds. And
Right.
so I think that now that I'm starting to have these little awakening moments during times of distress, which I really needed, I'm starting to be able to have the capacity to create space to see, okay, is what I'm thinking coming from wisdom? Is it coming from fear? Is this an old wound? And not buy into it and react. Because reacting has got me in trouble and it only causes more suffering.
Right.
Believing that the thoughts are real is like you said, it equals suffering.
So the interesting thing about that is that when you react, you become a 5-year-old.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a child.
Yes. So
Yeah.
Jed is saying after consistent thought watching of simple thoughts, observation mode kicks in with the more painful, challenging thoughts. And that's what Sarah is saying, and that is correct. But if you
Yeah.
start with the painful, challenging thoughts, that will never work. It almost never happens.
No, and
Okay.
I think
No,
I
and
mistakenly started with the painful thoughts initially because I wasn't comprehending. As simple as it is, it was hard to really grasp it for me for some reason.
right. No,
But
I
just
just
hearing you repetitively helped.
well, it's funny. I have to repeat this because we only hear about 10% of what people are telling us because we have these preconceptions that are going in our heads. Now, I just want to honor Simon here for a bit because his path is slightly different, because of his particular situation. But for most people, if you just start on the small thoughts, within days, literally, within days, you start noticing changes. So, Simon, you look like you got a bird about ready to fly out of your mouth. Go ahead.
I mean, I I felt like I was writing a bowl. These negative thoughts. I was writing a bowl, or like uh, I was maybe so deep underwater. I was just fighting my thoughts underwater, but now I'm almost at the surface. I'm coming to the surface and
Mm-hmm.
meeting reality with this like calm, emotionally regulated person that doesn't have to react to these like thoughts flying by because I've given it direction. Like that one is leaving and this one is leaving. I'm trying to inform this self, like wherever this voice is coming from. It's like they're all leaving. They're just leaving. They're not hitting me. I'm not turning around and, like insulting the thought that I thought was injuring me. I'm just letting it
Right.
all go.
That's amazing. I just want to make a comment about what you're describing. To me, it almost sounds like the thoughts have changed from being like a personality to an object. Am I overstating that for you?
Um, I almost don't care. Like I'm not analyzing every little thing about the
Wow.
thought.
Oh my
I don't
God.
care. I honestly don't care. I'm just more interested in direction. It's not hitting me. It's not hitting me.
Right.
And this me that I thought was hitting me was the one turning around and like insulting those thoughts, like, hey man, blah, blah, blah. But now this me is like shooting off thoughts that I thought like I was responsible for. But no, no, it's just by design that way. It's just like giving information.
Right.
Stop here, do this, turn the light off, these kind of things. But
Right.
yeah, it's for
Yeah.
this other self, like the bigger self. I'm trying to, I think, inform a bigger self,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know,
You,
an idealized version.
well, we all are a bigger self. The voice is the smaller self. So, Sarah, um, let me ask you a question that I asked Simon a minute ago. When the voice in your head speaks, does it still feel like you? Do you still feel that sense of identification?
Yeah, I don't think I've completely disidentified.
Okay, so,
But
so you're in
but
the
I
process.
see I mean, just even a slight m move in the right direction has brought me great relief.
Uh huh. Great.
But I know that I still need to practice.
Yeah.
And I'm going to continue to do so with the mundane thoughts because miraculously now I'm seeing it in distress, where before you couldn't get me to pause. I
Right.
really believed this is reality and I need to protect myself or
Mhm.
and yeah, and those were not healthy ways of reacting.
See, that's the whole problem with the human race is we are by design protecting ourselves. That's our role in life is to protect ourselves. Unfortunately, that keeps us from being aligned with reality and fulfillment because that path of protection doesn't lead to the things we really want. And it's very difficult to
Yeah.
convince people that that's actually a thing. So,
Yeah, and I mean in my case I'm protecting myself against things that are not even real. It's
right,
old wounds.
right.
Yeah.
So, let me ask you one more thing, just popped into my head. As you're going through this process, when you came on to listen to the Monday live stream about relationships, did that inform this process for you at all?
I think so too, yes. Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely. Just to understand a little bit more about like attachment theory. I know that
Mm-hmm.
it falls in line. I was having a hard time understanding the dance between the lion and the unicorn.
Right.
Because you've mentioned that in our talks several
Mm-hmm.
times, but I didn't comprehend that very well. So it was nice to read that and understand myself. And um, the way that the lion was described, I'm like, oh wow, it's like you're describing me.
Right.
And that's where I go, when I get dysregulated. It helped me to understand why I react the way that I do. And
So we're looking for your comments. This is a very interesting and provocative conversation. If you have a comment, you have a question, put it in the comments. Um, and let me just make a response to your comment about attachment theory. Here's where I had, and many people are interested in attachment theory. And attachment theory says that basically you're either preoccupied with a relationship or you're avoidant, or you're secure. This is where I part company with the attachment people. Being secure doesn't mean you're not avoidant or preoccupied. You're just avoidant or preoccupied to a lesser degree. But even the most securely attached people are still lions or unicorns. And so
yeah,
you can't take the test and say, well, I'm secure, and not go on and learn something about yourself from that dynamic, because it's there in all relationships. Even the most securely attached people have tendencies toward one or the other, and it's worth investigating.
yeah, I think there's a lot more hope in your theory. Because I did read a book on attachment theory, and it was like, oh my God, there's no hope for me.
Well, and I think you raise a very smart point, because that's the problem with attachment theory. They draw a line. We don't know where the line is. We think we do because we have some instruments you can take. But if you're insecurely attached, you're broken,
Yeah.
you know, and that's just not the case. If you understand the dynamics of what's going on with you, securely attached people are still desperately unconscious. They need to wake up just like everybody else. So we can't let them off the hook and then condemn everybody else, and then not give everybody else an opportunity to have the awakening that we all need. So, this is where I kind of part company with some of the theories on attachment, because I think it applies to everybody. And if you see it
I
through that
love that.
lens, it makes perfect sense. Any
Yeah,
questions?
I found a lot of relief in listening to your talk Monday. Thank you.
Good, good. That's great. So here, oh, Big T, who I love, he's a brother. Where can I find those unicorn versus lion theory? If you go on the YouTube channel, there are a couple of them on there that talk about my unicorn lion theory. I also have a book out called The Dance of the Lion and the Unicorn. It's a very good book. It'll change your whole idea of relationships as you read the book, by the way. It's not self-help, it's a revelation. Um, and let's see, there was something else popped into my head about it. Of course, you can watch the recording of the live stream that was done Monday, because when we do the live streams on Monday, those will be, if you go on the YouTube channel and click live, you'll see all the live streams. And the ones that are recorded on Mondays are going to be about the lion and unicorn theory. So, um, but and I don't think I have a. Let's see. Here is the lion and unicorn. I'll put it up. So, two people, two circles. The one on the right I call the lion, the one on the left I call the unicorn. Now, we all have emotional pain, and a lion's emotional pain is a feeling of rejection, like nobody cares or they're not good enough. And the unicorn's emotional pain is fear or anxiety, and it's fear of conflict and fear of abandonment. And so when the lion gets angry, the unicorn says, oh no, here we go again. I need to avoid the conflict. That avoidance looks like rejection, like nobody cares, and they get angry, and it just goes around and around like that. So let me find the right slide to get back to where I was. I'm sorry. There we go. Sorry about that. So there's lots of information um, on the channel, and if you want to reach out to me uh, beyond the live stream tonight, I can send you some links for some information online, Unicorn. And by the way, when I first wrote the book, The Dance of the Lion and Unicorn, there had been almost no research into this dynamic, and now there has been some research, and in the research they labeled this demand withdrawal. Lions and unicorns fits the pattern. So here's Paul. Paul, sorry I missed the stream. Hoping on during work back here last minute. Still working on it personal, but getting better. Great conversation. Thanks, Paul. Paul is another person who had never um, engaged in the moment mindfulness at all, and he started, I guess, with you and I, Simon. What, about 2 weeks ago?
He was good. Yeah, he's very articulate, and yeah,
And he
yeah,
was very much an analyzer, and he's started to have some
yeah.
breakthroughs. And we're excited to have Paul come on with us, hopefully next week or in the near future, and talk about what's going on with him. So I've been dominating things. You guys step up and share some other stuff about what you're learning about what we're doing here. We got about 10 minutes.
I got your email, Mark, about that audit. You had an auditing system of
Yeah.
asking yourself questions. I realized that those were like the trick questions where the observer trying to observe the thoughts just gets you lost, like even
Uh-huh.
deeper into the mess.
Right.
There's no way that more thinking or more observation is going to help you like do anything with the thoughts. Just let them go, man.
I
Some of them
think you
come from
I think you reading those exercises, you realize I think that's part of what helped you break out of this.
yeah, I know the traps that I've set, and I know this like war that I've been fighting,
Right.
and I know why I was trying to protect myself. I was just
So
going in circles.
So what Simon is referring to is I developed a series of 3 or 4 exercises for analyzers, and they're very good. Um, oh, this is Shannon. Shannon, that's you. Okay. I'm sorry you couldn't join us tonight. Shannon's another wonderful person who caught on to this right away. The changes that Simon and Sarah are talking about are encouraging, absolutely, because this is a real thing. This is not self-help. This is absolutely transformation. And you're hearing it in what these people are talking about. This is, we didn't go and activate our pineal gland and become millionaires. This is really, what happens when you do something very simple but very elegant. So, what was I talking about here just a second ago? It's it's
About the
escaped me.
exercises you sent,
Oh, the oh,
Simon.
so here's what happened, Simon. I was intently thinking about, because in the past, whenever I had an analyzer like you, I kind of blew them off. I thought, no, these guys are never going to get it. They're busy. They're in my office. They're counting the ceiling tiles and all this weird stuff, and I'll
Yeah.
never be able to break them out. And so when I met you, I thought, no, I got to solve this problem. And so
Oh,
in a moment of inspiration, I realized what I needed to do. And you cracked the code. So what those exercises do is they prescribe the symptom.
uh-huh.
And when you prescribe the symptom, it sets up a paradox.
Uh-huh.
And so what the exercises do is they encourage you to be more analytical, and it breaks you out of the analysis. It was a
Very
genius move on
analytical.
my part.
Yeah, good job. Good job. Absolutely. Yeah. And I caught it. I swear I caught it. It's like the observer is getting into the mess. The observer makes a mess of the situation. The more you're looking back in your eyes, it's like that's the problem. That's
That's right.
what's causing it all. You're trying to like count thoughts. You're trying to like make sure they all land. I swear I could draw a diagram of what it was like before, and I could draw a diagram of how I'm gonna exit this thing. I can see the exit. I'm 60/40. I'm completely out.
I get it.
But
But you're on your
I
way.
think,
You're never going to be the same.
yeah, I hope so. Yeah. I'm not mad for no particular reason because my thoughts said so. Like I'm not fighting thoughts. I
Yeah.
don't have to be. I can just be emotionally regulated. That's what I keep calling it. Oh my God, I can be emotionally regulated.
Well, that's true because as long as you believe your thoughts, you can never be emotionally regulated.
And I did. I did. I believed in the thoughts that I was speaking to myself, and I
Right.
believed the ones that were injuring me. Those were the worst. I felt
Yeah.
like I was injured and I was protecting. I was injured and protecting.
Yep. Great. You know, there
Right.
was another thing I was going to ask you, Simon, but it's escaped me now. But it'll come back. So, Sarah, what do you think about this transformation that Simon has undergone and the way he's describing it? It's very different from your experience, isn't it?
It is, but I can relate to him so much too, though. So I have just a lot of compassion because he's
Uh huh.
not, a lot of the things he says aren't super foreign.
Good.
No, but it's really exciting. Yeah, yeah, it's really exciting to see him get it and to have that emotional regulation and hopefully just more peace
Yeah.
within himself.
So Big T is asking this question. I know we're short on time, but once you stop listening to the voice, does your personality change? You know, I remember I had a conversation with one of my mentors who was, her name is Katie Davis, and she was a friend of Eckhart Tolle's, used to travel with Eckhart Tolle. And she tells the story about somebody came to her once and told her problems and said, "Do you think I have a personality disorder?" And Katie turned to her and said, "Yes, the personality itself is a disorder."
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so in a fundamental way, your personality doesn't change, but all the aspects of it that probably are not good do change because you just get
Yeah.
interested in different things and you respond differently. And yeah, you become
Yeah.
a much calmer, you know, it's almost like people can enjoy your life now.
Yeah. Maybe other people are safer. I think other people are safer around me and they have no idea what I've been through. Like,
All right, we got a couple more minutes here. Um, by the way, if you want to learn this, and you want to come on live with us, we're looking for guests to come on, like Sarah and Simon, who are very brave, coming on with us. Also on Mondays at noon to talk about couples. If you'd like one-on-one coaching, that's available. There will be a link for a discovery call. We can get on Zoom and we can talk about how I can help you. And we have other resources. We have a free Facebook group, so check that out. We have a couple minutes left. Is there any other comment or question, or do you either one of you have anything you want to say in kind of wrapping up tonight?
um,
Try
Mark,
it.
where do I send the money? Where do I send the money? Just
Have faith and try it.
Thank you. You know, I got to tell you, this YouTube thing is a challenge unlike anything I've ever had in my life. And you guys know what we're doing here and how valuable it is. You're experiencing a real change in your life. And so if you're listening to this, please like and subscribe, hit the bell icon so that when we do things on the channel, you get notified. But more importantly, just, you know, when this recording comes out, um, share it with your friends. So Jed is
I feel
saying
a
she
little,
notices change in you, Simon.
man, I feel a little selfish, but I just don't know how it's gonna land with other people. Like the conversation I'm having with you guys, I swear, I feel like this is our thing, and I feel a little like selfish about it, but it might really just land on someone. We just don't know how it's gonna land. We have no idea who it's gonna land
Yeah,
on.
that's right. Well, the worst thing that could happen is somebody just says, "Oh, that's interesting," and they go back to eating their ham sandwich or whatever. So,
Or turn around and make fun of us, right? Just clown on us for some reason. I don't know. I'm
but
willing to
see,
be laughed at. I'm
well,
willing to be
see,
laughed at.
oh, well, you can see now when people experience an awakening, you know, like Tolle or like you're experiencing, they immediately
Yeah.
want to share it with other people because it's the answer. It's what everybody's been looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
All right. I love you guys both. I hope you come on again next week, give us an update. And, you just, Sarah, you're just beaming. Obviously, something has happened.
Oh, yes, I needed this. Yes.
All right, don't be strangers. If you are on the live, that's great. We really appreciate it. If you watch the recording, give us a comment and say something nice because we want more people to experience this so we can all change the world. And this is how you change the world from the inside of you. You know, social justice won't do it. Transformation will. So with that, I'll say goodnight to everybody, and we'll see you Monday at the live stream at noon on couples, and next Thursday the live stream at 6:15 where we talk about moment mindfulness. So long for now.
Thank you.